UFC Fight Night Arnold Allen versus Milquizelle Costa is this upcoming weekend, and I'm going to go through the entire card from the bottom all the way to top, give my full card prediction and breakdown for what I think will happen in each fight. And yeah, this weekend it's an interesting one because we have this fight night in the Apex, and then also the Netflix MMA card headlined by Ronda Rousey and Gina Carano, which I will do a separate video for that one. I'm not really going to probably count that one in my picks, maybe a couple of the fights, but I'm not really too interested in most of the undercard of that fight. Um, but each of these will count for my picks, and maybe three or four, maybe five of the ones on that other card I will also count towards picks for the year. But yeah, first off, we start off with Shauna Bannon versus Nicole Cagliari. Also just gonna preface for this one. This one is a lot of people that I do not think are very great fighters in this card. And so I would not be surprised if somebody just loses because they are worse than the person I picked. Um, but for this fight, I'm going with Shauna Bannon. I think she has some decent grappling skills. She's looked decent in certain fights. Last year, she had an incredible comeback against somebody, but where she got head kicked and then got an armbar off. Nicole Cagliari, I saw her fight in person, and she hasn't impressed me in other fights I've seen her in. I think she's only lost in the UFC, and so I think Shauna Bannon will get a submission over Nicole Cagliari in this fight, or a TKO with ground and pound. But yeah, I think Shauna Bannon wins this one over Nicole Cagliari. Nicole Cagliari. Um, but I also obviously I could be very wrong. I've got that feeling with Sean and Bannon. This one, um, I literally have no idea who will win this one. Luis Garul could hit him, knock him out, put him down. Daniel Perez could outdo Luis Garul. I could see both of these guys getting slept. I could see both of these guys getting knocked out. I could see Perez getting a submission. But Gruel is a tough enough dude to not get knocked out, I think, in this fight. But he just doesn't really ever do enough to win fights. So I'm gonna go with Daniel Perez. Um, wow, I'm gonna go real bad on picks for this card, but Daniel Perez is my pick. I think he's just gonna outdo Gruel to a close 29-28 decision. Where not too awful much happens, but he does get the win in that fight. Then we move up to Alice Ardeline versus Poliana Viana. Now this one I'm struggling between because Alice Ardeline, and I think it was her last fight and maybe the fight before that, she kind of impressed me in her performances, but overall she's not too great. Polyana Viana hasn't really impressed me in a long time, but her grappling is very good. To a certain extent, I just don't think she's the toughest fighter we've seen. Um, but she's popular, so I'm that's why I know of her more. Um, because I think she the one that dated Alex Pereira or something. But then Alice Ardeline, she was she the one that beat? Maybe she wasn't the one that beat Elise Pereira. Um, the or Aileen, whatever, the youngest fighter on the roster. But yeah, I think Alice Ardeline will win this fight. I think she's willing to go into the fire more than Polyana Viana has proven to. She's willing to strike, cause damage, do what she needs to do. But I could see her getting taken down and submitted in this fight. I just think she's a little stronger than Polyana, and I think she'll be able to. Um, I think she'll just be able to cause more damage in this fight than Polyana, and so I think Alice Ardeline will win this fight by a decision or a round two TKO with ground and pound. Then we go up to Cody Brundage versus Andre Petrosky. I've said it before. I'm gonna say it again, and I'm gonna keep saying it. I'm never going to pick Cody Brundage to win a UFC fight. I've been wrong about him before where he has won, but I'm not picking Cody Brundage. I'm picking Andre Petrosky. I think Andre will knock out Cody Brundage, or at least cause a little bit more damage to Cody than Cody can to him. Um, yeah, wow, crazy fight in this card. Yeah, I think Andre Petrosky knocks out Cody Brundage round three with TKO, uh, where he hurts him, stumbles him. Cody goes down. Andre tries to get on top, doesn't get the finish. Then they end up standing back up, and then I think Andre chases it down again and does knock out Cody Brundage. Um, and yeah, I think Andre Protowski wins this fight just because I'm never going to bet on a Cody Brundage win. So yeah. Then we move up to Jacqueline Cavalcante versus Ketlin Vieira. I'm This one is a close one for me because I could see Ketlin Vieira kind of dogging this one out and getting it down to the ground and causing a little bit of damage to Jacqueline Cavalcante. But I can't get past. I think Jacqueline Cavalcante will win this fight. I think she will outstrike Ketlin Vieira. I think Ketlin Vieira is okay with getting behind in certain fights where she really probably shouldn't be. Um, and yeah, I think Jacqueline Cavalcante will win this fight 30-27 with probably a close round one or in a close round three. But I think Jacqueline Cavalcante will pretty decisively win this fight over Ketlin Vieira. Because I think she's on the rise. She wants it more. She's on a win streak. And yeah, I think Ketlin Vieira is kind of where she is, and she's not really going to go higher than this. Um, then we have Thomas Gant versus Artur Minev. I'm going with Thomas Gant. From what I've seen of him, and I believe I saw him on the Contender Series, he was pretty decent. And then Artur Minev is a last minute step in for it was Ogden. I would have probably picked Gant in the Ogden fight too, but Artur Minev is a very short notice step in. So I'm going with Thomas Gant to win this fight via submission, um, or TKO where he hurts him and then finishes him on the ground. But I'm going with submission by Thomas Gant. Um, just because I think his wrestling and his he's gonna be better in those aspects, and I think he's gonna be Archer's just not gonna be prepared on this short notice to debut. Um, Thomas Gant's had the Contender Series before, so I'm going with Thomas Gant to win and beat Artur Minaev. Now we get to an absolute banger. Tukatakas versus Ivan Urslan. Um, I mean, this fight, I could see anybody losing. I don't even know if somebody wins. This might be a draw. Um, I would say Tuko Tukas wins. I think he just is going to be able to slightly outdo even Urslan. But I could see both of these guys winning. These guys both are not super duper impressive. Um, but I think Tukatakas is going to win this fight. I think he will. Um, I think he'll get a decision. I think this will have a lot of close fought rounds. Um, but I think Tuko will be have a little bit more gas in the tank at the end of the fight than even Urslan. But Ivan could slime him out. But yeah, there's not really much to say for a majority of these fights because I mean this is a Tukatakas versus Ivan Urslan is a fight in general. But to end the prelims off, that's kind of crazy. So yeah, Tukatakas going for the win via 30-27 decision, 29-28 decision, where Ivan probably gets Tuko hurt at some point. I could see him knocking him out. I could see Tuko getting a decision here. Then we move up to Nikolai Varetnikov versus Chaos Williams. Um, this is an interesting one. Nikolai Varetnikov not looked great in other past fights, but he beat Francisco Prado, I believe, was the one he beat when I saw him. And then he beat uh, Nico Price, I think was the next one he beat. And then Chaos Williams, he is coming off of a loss. I don't remember to who, but he is coming off of a loss, and he's obviously, as his name is, chaotic. He will cause damage. He'll get in there. Um, this one could go either way for me. I think if Nikolai stays long and rangy, then this could go either way. I mean, yeah, what are the odds? 105 to 115. This is a very close fight. Um, I have circled on my sheet that Cass Williams will win this fight. I could see Nikolai Veretnikov getting it though. What's the height difference between them again? 6'1" to 6 foot, 77 inch to 74. Yeah, so Nikolai's not even that much longer. I just know whoever I pick, it's gonna be the other one. But I'm gonna stick with my gut and go with ah. Um, this one it's tricking me because I could see Chaos Williams causing chaos, getting in there, slugging it out. But I could also see Nikolai Veretnikov sticking out on the outside and um just tapping Chaos Williams a little bit and then landing a good power shot and putting him away. You know what? I'm gonna just stick with Cass Williams. I think he's gonna be able to mix it up, go in for some takedowns, get some ground and pound going, and I think he's gonna be able to cause some damage onto Nikolai Veretnikov and put him away in the second round. No, yeah, nope. I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna stick with it, even when it's wrong. I'm gonna pick it because I don't want to go back on it, and that would make it worse if it was wrong. Um, yeah, Cass Williams, I think, beats Nikolai Veretnikov. Um, where he catches him, puts him down, and yeah, he's gonna put him down, sleep him in the second round. After Nikolai has a very good first round. Then Timmy Kwamba versus Bernardo Sarpage. Sarpage not having fought in so long. Timmy Kwamba looked good in his last fight, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly. This fight is close one as well. I could see either guy getting it, but yeah, see here, let me look something up with Timmy Kawamba one more time to remember, make sure I'm thinking of the right person. Because if I'm not thinking of the right person, then I'm going to Chang Ho Lee. Was he the one that he had back mount the entire time? Blagiaki. Um, You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna stick with my gut and go with Bernardo Sapage. He looked good in his last fight, which was a long time ago, but I think he can win this fight. I think he will um be able to kind of cause damage, stay quick, stay kind of in the phone booth a little bit more, get some grappling going, but I think he ends up putting down Timmy Kawamba. Um early into the second round, and that turns the tides after what would be a close first round. Um, and I think he's gonna chop at the legs of Timmy Kwamba a little bit in this fight. Kind of slow his movement down, and then I think the third round, uh, it'll be a close round. But I think Bernardo Sapage gets a close decision, where he clearly wins round two, but first and third are pretty close rounds. But I think Bernardo Sapage will get the win this Saturday night. Then we have wow. This card is cursed for me. I know I'm gonna get this is crazy. Said like three different people's names wrong, but Modestas Bukowskis versus Christian Edwards. I'm going with Modestas Bukowskis because he's a tall, strong, powerful dude, quick dude. And he's fighting a guy who is taking this on very short notice. He was supposed to be fighting Rodolfo Bellato on this card, but Rodolfo pulled out. So it is Modestas Bukowskis versus Christian Edwards. I'm thinking that just Christian being on such short notice, very very short notice, Modestas is going to be able to chip away at him, hurt him with body kicks, leg kicks, be quick, powerful. I hope he just doesn't gas out, but I could see this being a first round knockout for Modestas Bukowskis. try and get him back on track. And yeah, I think Modestas Bukauskas beats Christian Edwards in the first round via knockout um, pretty quickly into the fight, too. I think he's going to go out there, try and take his head off because I think in his last fight he was kind of too complacent, and I think that's what led to his downfall. I think in this fight he will be the opposite and will eventually get Christian Edwards out of there early. Then we have Malcolm Wellmaker versus Juan Diaz. Um, this one is interesting because Malcolm Wellmaker, obviously very touted prospect, coming off of his first loss in MMA to Ethan Ewing on like 2 days' notice. But now we know Ethan Ewing is just a monster. Is very very good. So you can't really hold that too bad against Wellmaker. Juan Diaz, he, I believe, was the one with the spinning elbow knockout over the Asian guy on the Contender Series. That was absolutely insanity. I think it was like the same week as the double spinning elbows um, at UFC Chimaev Duplessis. Um, but yeah, Wellmaker versus Juan Diaz. I'm thinking Wellmaker will get it done. I think Juan Diaz is there to be hit a little bit more. I think he is not as technical and skilled as Ethan Ewing, which Ethan Ewing has showed that that's kind of what it can take to beat Malcolm Wellmaker right now, at this lower unranked level. And so yeah, I think Malcolm Wellmaker will cause damage. He's very powerful. I think he's probably learned to not just wait for that one shot. I think he's probably learned to mix it up, change what you're doing, not just throw the left hook or throw the right overhand. Um, I think he's going to mix in some low kicks. I think he's going to go to the body a little bit more. And I think he's going to be able to put out Juan Diaz in the second round after the first round of kind of setting Juan up with some leg kicks and some body shots. I think he's going to end up making it easier to hurt Juan, knock him out, put him down, and finish him in the second round of this fight. In very, 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 very good fashion. I think Malcolm Wellmaker will get back on track and beat Juan Diaz. Then we move up to Dooho Choi versus Daniel Santos. Now, this fight, I was going back and forth between it, but I think the thing that sold it for me was Dooho Choi's inactivity recently. And Daniel Santos knocked out Zombie Jr., which Zombie Jr. looked real good before that knockout, and Daniel Santos put him down bad. I think Daniel Santos can do the same to Dooho Choi. I think in this fight, Daniel Santos' power, his speed, his aggressiveness will work in his favor, and I think he will catch Dooho Choi and put him down against the fence. I think he swings hard. I think he's gonna go all out, and I think he's going to land the shots, hurt Dooho Choi, who hasn't been in there for a while. I think he hasn't been in there in like a year and a half. If I'm thinking right, or maybe he's fought since, but then before that it was a long layoff, and before that it was a long layoff. So I think Daniel Santos is just going to come in there. I think he's going to land some pretty hard shots. And I think he's going to put out Dooho Choi in the third round. First round's going to be close. Second round is going to be a lot more Daniel Santos just after landing a lot of hard shots. And I think he puts him down in the third. Yeah, I think Dooho Choi gets put to sleep by Daniel Santos. After getting Zombie Jr., goes up, does it to Dooho Choi too. And yeah, if hopefully he can make weight this time though. He has to make weight because otherwise, I mean, this guy needs to be either cut or moved to a different division. But yeah, Daniel Santos to put out Dooho Choi. Then we get to the main event and the most important fight of this card by far, Arnold Allen and Milquez Costa. And this fight is a legitimate banger. This fight would be like an amazing like main card opener for a pay-per-view. This would be a spectacular prelim, made feature prelim, on a pay-per-view type card. But this fight is awesome. Milquez Costa coming off of the great spinning kick knockout of spinning back kick knockout of Dan Ige. Arnold Allen coming off of the loss to Gene Silva, which was a 3-round fight, close decision. But man, this fight is gonna be good. Like this is a very very good fight. Melquizel has been looking great as of recently, beating a couple of good opponents. Head kicked Morgan Charrier, spinning back kicked um, Danny Gay. Arnold Allen has had long layoffs, but now he's trying to get in there regularly, and I like that. Arnold Allen is a really, really fun fighter, and it's great to see him right back in there after January. We're already back in May, and I think that's good for somebody like Arnold Allen. I don't think he's great off of huge layoffs. He beat, I believe it was Giga Chikadze before his last fight. But that was like a year and a half before his January fight against Gene Silva. So this fight is going to be interesting, and it's going to be a really big test because Milkwell Costa could, if he wins this is his biggest win by far. Danny Gay is a big win, but this would be a huge win because Danny Gay's kind of been on a little bit of a decline. Arnold Allen is not on a decline, but he's not at what he used to be. So this is a winnable fight, but it is a hard one to win. Wow, this fight is very, very good. I think the biggest thing for Milkwell Costa here is that he's gonna want to stay on the back foot. He's gonna want to stay with kicks, stay with body kicks, go up, switch it around, try and cut off the legs of Arnold Allen with leg kicks. Um, I think he's gonna want to stay rangy in this fight because Arnold Allen, once you get him in that close boxing range, in that phone booth, I think that's real hard for anybody, and it's gonna be a hard fought fight no matter who wins. Um, I don't want to get another main event wrong this year, but see, I could see Arnold Allen doing it, but I think Milkwell Costa, with the body kicks, with the low kicks, if he sticks to him, is able to. I think he's durable enough. He's shown that he can take some shots sometimes. Um, Spinning back, kicking. Dan Ige, he's creative. He's getting more confident. That head kick over Morgan Charrier was perfect. He's getting more aggressive. He's getting better. I think he's gonna beat Arnold Allen, but I think this fight is a decision. I don't. I think Arnold Allen is not gonna want to give up. I could see a doctor stoppage if these two hurt each other enough. I think that's the only way it really ends in a TKO. Um, but I don't see Milkwell Costa knocking out Arnold Allen. Maybe he can pull it off, but that's a hard feat right now in my mind. Gene Silva couldn't. Max Holloway hasn't been able to in the past. So yeah, I'm going with Melquizel Costa to win this fight via decision or submission. Um, but I think the leg kicks and the body kicks are what's going to really hurt Arnold Allen in this fight. I think that's going to be the main point of victory for Melquizel Costa. It's going to be staying long and just chipping away at Arnold Allen, hurting him to the legs and trying to just stop his movement, stop him from being able to get to him. And yeah, that's the biggest thing for Melquizel Costa, and I think he pulls it off. But honestly, I'm just excited to see this fight. I'm more excited to see this fight than most of the fights on the Netflix card, other than like the Diaz Perry one. This is probably my most interested one. Um, and so yeah, I'm gonna go make that video of the Netflix card pretty soon. But that is Arnold Allen versus Melquizel Costa. I think Melquizel Costa will be able to pull it off. I could obviously see Arnold Allen doing it, and part of me kind of wants to see Arnold Allen do it because Arnold Allen, if he's still in the top of this division, there's a lot of fun fights. Like eventually maybe a Diego Lopez, a Steve Garcia, um, a Yair Rodriguez, a eventual Gene Silva rematch, maybe a Kevin Vallejos. There's a lot of fun fights, and I think Melquizel Costa, I think he can win it, and I think there's a lot of fun fights for him up at the top of this division. But yeah, Arnold Allen, Melquizel Costa. Melquizel Costa is my pick for a win via decision or submission. Be very surprised if there was a knockout. And yeah, thank you for watching. Have a good day. Let me know what you think of these fights and this card. Go check out my Netflix MMA breakdown video. And yeah, I'm going to count all of these towards my picks. Obviously, every UFC card is. The Netflix one, I'm guessing I'm probably going to do like the 3 main events as part of the picks and maybe like 2 others as part of my yearly picks. Because there's a lot of guys on that card that I don't know really at all. But yeah, we'll see. UFC Fight Night, Alan Costa, thank you, and